And howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. We are here joining you live. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Vimeo, we think, potentially even.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Eric Allared, your gracious host, co-host, and just grateful to be here with you today. Senior Vice President of Tilson Homes, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family. And I am joined today. We have special guests, as you can see. I'm going to make us sit there awkwardly and smile for a little while, just because. But first, before we introduce our special guest, we have to introduce my gracious co-host who lets me join her every week, Mrs. Dawn Dancer, our Director of Marketing. Hello, Dawn.
Hi.
How's everybody doing today? Okay, so here's what we got going on today, folks. We have two very special guests joining us. First of all, tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. See, I made just even a little longer. Just trying to drag this out. Obviously, we'll be monitoring the chat through this entire thing. Tell us where you are watching from. Tell us where you're building, maybe what part of the process you're in. We love hearing about that. Love about your journey. What's the weather like where you are? That happens too, because it's a vast area. We like to know what's going on around the state. And now I'll introduce our two very special guests. So many of you have come to us in various ways, but all of you have probably seen us somewhere on the interwebs. And if you've come across our website at all, you have come across our new home specialists. Okay, and we are joined by two of them right now. We have Faith Burns and we have Lucky Sloan. Say hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
All right, so we'll make Lucky go first. Lucky, give us a little bit about how long you've been with Tilson. You've had different roles now. So tell us a little bit about where in the world you are from, because some people think, when they new home specialist, I'm calling telephone, I'm talking to somebody in Minnesota or Bangladesh, like who am I talking to and where are you and how would you possibly know about building a home on rural property in Texas? So tell us.
I promise I'm in Texas. I have been with Tilson for 8.5 years.
Yeah.
And it went by really, really fast.
Agreed.
Formally on site. But I had been in the new home specialist position now for, I think, about 3.5 years, which has gone by really, really fast. Yeah. I reside just outside of San Antonio,
cool.
So not far from our Bernie location. Awesome. But I'm originally from Kingsville, still
All
Texas.
Right. South Texas girl.
Awesome. South Texas.
All right. Well, welcome, Lucky. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
All right, Miss
for
Faith.
having me.
Here you go. Where are you watching us from and joining us from?
Well, I am currently in Waxahachie, Texas, so I'm very close to the Design Center in Waxahachie. I'm coming up on my first year with Tilson in December, so super excited to be here. Yay! And yeah, thank you, because I love it. Super stoked. It's gone by really fast. And just excited to be here and helping people find their new home plans and making it happen.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, welcome. Thank you, Faith, and welcome aboard. And I can't believe it's already been a year. That's crazy. Yeah. And Lucky, I can't believe it's been almost a decade. That's even crazier. Wow. So anyway, Lucky was with us in Midlothian and that endeavor down there. And then a lot of her success she had there led us to make the decision to build in Waxahachie and do that. So I'm grateful for both of you ladies. And thank you for joining us today. So Dawn, what is a little bit about what we want to talk about? What do these great folks do on a day in and day out basis? How can they help people? What's going on here?
Yeah, so our new home specialists are the ones you'll see their happy smiley faces at the top of our website when you're there, and they are really kind of the first line of questions. If you're not talking to Eric and I live here on Facebook and YouTube, you probably are reaching out to one of them. So anytime you call any of the phone numbers on the website or you fill out one of the contact forms, it's going to these lovely people.
Yeah, so I think we take a lot of pride, or I take a lot of pride, maybe it's just me, but in the fact that we want to make sure that when prospective people are looking to build a home on their land, that they're calling the experts, which is Tilson. It's really important to us that they talk to somebody like who understands kind of what they're trying to do. And so while all our online sales consultants, our new home specialists do work remotely, they're all here in Texas,
Mhm.
which I think is a really cool deal. And so when you call them up and tell them a place, there's a very good chance that they're very familiar with it because they live here, they work here, they raise families here, they go on vacations in all these cool places. So we take a lot of pride in that. And that when you call in, you're talking to somebody about that initial, what does this even look like? How do we get this process started? You're dealing with somebody who kind of speaks your language and knows what you're talking about, because we're different here. We're different people. Us
Mhm.
Texans, we're strange.
We are.
Yeah,
Just
we're-
a little
we're
bit.
We're cool with that.
You want to check in and see where everybody's
Yeah.
watching from?
Let's see where folks are watching in from.
All right. We've got Will coming in from Klondike. We've got Megan listening from Nacogdoches. She's hoping to build an Angelina early next year.
Beautiful.
We've got this stranger person named Dylan who says we're his favorite people.
Oh, well, welcome, Dylan Sled.
Dylan Sled.
Yeah.
We've got Marilyn coming in from Huffman. She's building a Paladuro in Cleveland, Texas.
Awesome. Brand new plan.
Fun fact, the Paladuro is actually the best-selling home this month.
How
Wow.
about that?
Yeah. First month out of the gate, and it is the best seller.
Yeah, I think we have one salesperson. I think sold 4 of them already this month or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a great floor
Then we
plan.
have Sherry with a question. She's asking if we offer a ranch-style home. So Sherry, can you be a little bit more specific with us by what you mean by ranch? Because that tends to mean different things to
That
different
might be a good question for one of our new home specialists. Someone calls in and says, "Do you have a ranch style home?" What might one of you say?
The Preston. Well, first and foremost, we need to know how many square feet she wants to build.
Okay.
For the most part, I think because, and this is just kind of my opinion in essence, but we've done this for a really, really long time. And for the most part, started with rural Texas. So the traditional ranch style house, that's easy for us. So if she's not seeing it on the website, that's definitely something that we can accommodate quite easily, I think.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just like that.
All right.
It's easy as that.
Yeah. We've got Lenore coming in from Delaware, still working on her septic and well and waiting for results from the soil test, building a San Gabriel.
And Myco. Awesome.
We got Carolyn tuning in to say hi. Guys, Carolyn and Dylan are other ones of our new home specialists, so they're checking in on the team. Kristen is coming in from Cibolo, Texas, building the Canyon D in Garden Ridge. Oh, Sean has nice things to say. Great
Sean.
builder,
Appreciate
great
that,
people.
Mr.
Thank you, Sean. Donna is saying hi from Plano. Hope to be in Marble Falls before too long. Awesome.
Oh, that's a pretty area.
pretty place. It's a good place to go. Frank is coming in from Dallas.
All right,
Not
Frank.
far from me.
Yeah.
We got Mark and Cindy in New Caney, looking to build in Northwest Burleson County.
Very cool.
And then we've got Pat, who's saying, I wanted to see the Gonzalez house first, but it isn't a model anywhere. I would love to see one. Any being built, we have no problem driving anywhere. Yeah, we have a lot of them being built throughout the state. We also do have the virtual tour online that you can kind of look at. I know it's not quite the same as being there, but it's pretty close. But yeah, to see one kind of out in the wild of Texas, I'd recommend checking in with your sales, design consultant in the sales center, because we need to meet you before we'll take you out to somebody's house. So come see us, and then they can probably arrange, because that's another one of our best-selling houses. So there's definitely several under construction. Let's see. Doug is asking about the Paladuro. Will we have pictures or renderings of the Paladuro interior anytime soon? Yes, I will have them for you next month.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah. If anyone with the city of San Marcos is watching, we would have pictures even sooner if we could
We would have one.
get
Right.
permission to build in your illustrious city. That'd be wonderful. And a place where we've been 20 years. That would be really, really neat. So, shameless plug for expediting the permit.
Yes. And we have Tanya, the Thompsons from San Antonio, building in Spring Branch.
Welcome back, Tanya.
We've got Neil coming in from Mansfield. We'll be building at San Jacinto and Toller. Awesome. Rhonda is building a driftwood in Fisher.
Very nice.
Julie from Denton building a Whitney and Bowie, Montague County. Just had our design appointment with Shanna. Awesome.
Oh, very cool.
Aw.
Very, very cool. And we've got Chris in Fort Worth again, visited the Hatchie and the
Yep.
electric fireplace on Saturday, and it was very nice, as were the models.
I love that fireplace.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
super.
Yeah. Did you put it on a pretty color? Because that's always fun. And it
Yeah.
drives our builder crazy.
Nick loves when you change the color of it. We had a big conversation about fireplaces last week, guys. It got
Yes.
we had a lot of people voting gas, electric, all
Mhm.
kinds of things, inside, outside. We didn't talk ceiling mounted fireplaces, thank goodness, but that's not a thing.
That'd get a little dicey.
Yeah.
All right. We have got Vince from Round Rock hoping to build in the Fredericksburg area. Another very, very pretty place. I love Fredericksburg.
Yes. Very nice.
We have Joe living still in LaPorte, waiting to settle in Parker City.
I think you're trying to get to Parker. That's a long way from LaPorte to Parker County to Weatherford.
Parker
but
County, sorry.
We can
Parker
help you.
County.
No, we can help you. We can help you.
Yeah.
All kinds of colors.
Chris said he put all kinds of colors on the
All the
fireplace. So.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. We asked him to do that last week. We're like,
Get you a
yeah.
cupcake headed your
Great.
way.
Let's see. Oh, Lucky, you want to take this one? Frank is asking, what is the planned pricing difference? The Angelina has a $25,000 difference between the low and high figures.
Well, Frank, when you are actually, first of all, it's awesome that you were able to find pricing. I know sometimes that can get a little iffy when you're playing around with the website, but the different ranges that you're going to see on the website are the difference in the elevations, or what we consider the exterior of the house. So typically our elevation A's, and not all plans have, numerous elevations, but several do. The A elevation is probably going to be your hip roof, brick on 3 sides, all the way up to your then C elevation that is typically your more modern farmhouse style. In some cases, your D elevation is a little bit of craftsman or a combination of everything. So the difference is not just your roof pitches, but also your amount of porch. So when you're looking at these different elevations, that's where that significant difference is, because although the interior of the plan may not change drastically, the exterior under roof total square foot of slab changes, and that's the biggest difference in the range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on some of the elevations too, on your stone and different things like that. So that'll change the price as well. But yeah, mainly what you're looking at is just like she mentioned, your porches are going to make the big difference. And luckily, the way Dawn's got the website set up, as you choose the different elevations, go down and look at the floor plan, because it does actually change. And in some cases, it even adds or removes living area. So
living area.
Yeah, where we have the interactive floor plans in there, it actually tells you how that changes as you do things. We've got Barbara building a Whitney in San Marcos, Wimberley.
cool.
We have Linda and Robert coming in from Fredericksburg, meeting with Chauncey on the 11th, building a driftwood. Thank you for the great videos. Thank you for watching.
And I'm pretty sure I know your brother and sister-in-law, the Nordlands from the Woodlands, Texas. So
Oh, there you go.
thanks for trusting us.
Small world. And then we have Ray. Ray did not have a good time with us. So Ray, can you send us a message and let us know what happened with that? We'd love to get the opportunity to fix it for you. And
excellent. So tell me a little bit about Faith. What is it? So people call in, they've been on the website, they reach out to you guys. What are some of the questions they ask most frequently? Like, what's something that gets asked?
A lot of times they're looking for the price of our floor plans. So I kind of help them navigate our website by entering in the county information that will populate the pricing, because they're very interested in what our prices are. Do we go by square footage, that sort of thing. So I explained to them that we price our homes per plan detail and location, and this is how they can find that. And just wanting to know the time frame that we're under, what does that look like? How soon can they be in their new home build? And so I, let them know what that time frame is from the sign of contract. Typically it's 12 to 14 months. In some areas, I think we're experiencing a little bit more, 14 to 16 months. Is that correct.
Yeah, that's pretty close right now with the current
Pretty
supply chain issues.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the real struggle is. We don't know until something's out. You know, here's a for instance, they just came up today. So we our new location in Waco. We're working on that. Our sign was supposed to go up on October the 4th, and you know the I guess it's like the polyethylene, whatever the material is that you see on like freeway signs. Hey, guess what? It's a shortage. Can't get it.
Yeah.
So that got pushed back a week. So I mean, it's just kind of like we don't know, and here we are,
Right.
you know, days away from when we're going to put that thing on there, and it's like, oh, yep, we can't get it. And that's how we found that with windows in some cases, and cabinet hardware, and plumbing fixtures, and light fixtures. Like it's just been very, very strange, and you don't know until kind of the 11th hour. And I know it's because, you know, all these vendors and suppliers, they're working very hard to try and allocate that stuff and source it from wherever they can source it from. And, you know, I'm sure some of our folks that are watching have experienced this, not just in our industry. You know, I mean, just if you need parts for a car, for a tractor, for, you know, laptop for kids' school, or I mean, little stuff like that. It's been very, very challenging to get. So the timeframes have gotten protracted a lot, unfortunately. So.
And they also are looking for our process information, just helping them understand a little bit of what the process looks like, and or if they don't have land yet, what they need to do to secure their property, and if they have to wait to obtain it before they can actually start the build. Those are some other questions. And also financing. We help explain our wonderful Easy Buy program that I think is just fascinating and really a lot of help to many people out there that are looking to finance their homes, making it easy.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Easy Buy financing here in a little while, maybe if we can steal a little time.
Yeah, Megan's saying she's actually having trouble on supplies on her end. Can't even find the glass plate for a microwave right now.
Oh.
Yep. And when you have a clumsy husband like me that breaks them, that's a problem. That's a problem. I was trying to clean it in my defense. Okay.
Awesome.
So anybody else, any other comments we're seeing along the way, Dawn?
Yeah, we've got Kevin who's actually building a Gonzales in Lavernia. Michelle in San Marcos is awesome.
Oh, very cool. Great. Thanks,
Glad
Kevin.
to hear that. We've got Tim, who built a driftwood in Texas Grand Ranch and moved in February in the middle of the winter storm. So his house held the temperature for 4 hours when the power went out. So very happy with the house.
Awesome.
Glad to hear
Thank
that.
you, Tim. Thanks for sharing that. We really appreciate it. And thanks for trusting us too.
Thank you. Let's see. Pamela saying she just signed on with Tilson last week to build the Fredericksburg, having difficulty getting her well installed. It's 6 months out. Can the build begin without the well?
So Pamela, it can, and yeah, timing wise, that won't be too bad. If building out there in Fredericksburg, we just signed 6 months out. I mean, given some of the delays on some counties and engineering and design anyway, that unfortunately will help in this particular case. But we don't need water necessarily, obviously, to set forms or even put the plumbing in the grounds or even to dig the beams and all that. It's nice to have the water there for some cleanup with this concrete, but it's not 100% necessary. We do have to have it by the time we start doing like paint, stone, sheetrock work, that kind of stuff. We have to have water at that point, but that's further out than probably that 6 months that you're talking about. So you should be just fine. Yeah, we can actually begin construction without the well. What we want to do is be sure that we leave access for the well drilling rig to get in there and do what they need to do. So if it's going to be behind the home or something like that, we want to be sure we can kind of plan for that. We'll help you with that when we do the site evaluation.
Okay, perfect. And then we have Frank asking, he is sitting his house on a larger site with the locations of electric, water, and road access can be far apart. Which tends to be the most expensive per linear foot if it can make moving the location important?
You're probably going to end up being the road, Frank. Building a road is, to do it right, of those three, is typically the most expensive. Now, electric could top that depending on the co-op, and we've certainly had long conversations about that on other
Yes.
installments of our lives. But water is probably the easiest of those three. Electric would be second, and then road to do it right, because you really need to do some type of decent clay base that's compacted, and then ideally, obviously, a rock on top of that, some type of crushed rock or crushed concrete, crushed limestone, that's 4 inches thick, that's crowned, that's at least 12 feet wide, so it'll drain water. That's compacted, so that can get to be the most expensive to do it right, particularly if there's clearing involved. So if they have to clear trees out of the way to put the driveway in, so access would be the most. But all that to say, you can't move it once the house is there. So you bought the land for a reason. There's probably a view somewhere that you really, really like. Maybe you're fortunate enough to have multiple views on the property that you have to choose from, but most people don't. They've got kind of really one spot that would be just optimal for the view. I wouldn't let any of these deter you unless they just become exponentially expensive. Like, put it where you want to, because in 3 or 5 or 10 years, you don't want to look and be like, well, another $4,200, we could have had it over there. I mean, so money is money, but you can't rebuy a view, and these houses are very expensive to move. Very.
For sure. We have Kristen, who's saying that she was working with a different builder, but for several reasons they walked away. From the beginning, Tilson has been very transparent and made us feel very comfortable working with them. Thank you for such a positive experience so far.
Wow, Kristen,
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry that's what brought you here, but I'm glad you found us.
Absolutely. And then Manny is asking, he's from Houston, and he's asking about the ceiling heights for the Palo Duro. So that is going to vary a little bit throughout the plan, but for the most part, you're looking at a 10-foot ceiling. That foyer where you come in is raised. It's 14-foot ceiling. But family room, dining room, kitchen, the front study and the front bedroom are all going to be 10-foot. So is the master bedroom. And then the other secondary bedrooms are going to be a 9-foot ceiling height. So a little bit of variation throughout the home.
Yeah, that one has a lot of plate height stuff going on the front to give it that look.
Yeah, to give it that look. Amy just finished capping our well, putting in the gravel road and clearing a tree. Looking forward to what comes next. Awesome. Good job. Tanya is asking, how thick does the construction driveway need to be if it's laid on rocky soil in Como County?
Well, Tanya, I hadn't seen the soil exactly. I don't know what's under that rock, but I always go minimum 4-inch thick. And the reason being is because you want to be able to get a crown on top of that road. So what destroys a road worse than anything is water standing on it, which is no problem until a car comes over top of it and splashes it. So every time that's why potholes are such an issue in cities, right? Because they'll hold water, and every time a tire goes over it, it splashes a little more water and a little more material, a little more aggregate out of it, and the hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Then you have a cavity, and then it washes out, and then you lose cars inside them. So in a country that's not typically what happens, typically a car will get stuck long before it falls through. So the same thing happens on a dirt road or on a rock road. It's anywhere that'll hold water. That material has the propensity to wash out or splash out, even on its own. If it keeps raining and raining and raining, we shall get some of those flash floods there in Comal County. It rains real hard, real fast, and what will happen is that water will start draining off, and it actually will cut part of that road just to find the lowest point. Like, water is going to seek its own level. That's what it does. So it's going to look for a way out. And if it starts to cut that road, that's when you really start to have issues. So I do 4 inches thick. That way you can put a nice crown on the top of it so that it will shed water as it starts to rain. And ideally, you just don't want it to hold water. I mean, those two little ruts are real pretty in paintings and photographs going up through a country lane. They are terrible for wet weather. But they're very pretty for bluebonnets. Very pretty.
They are.
All right. Mark is asking, what is a safe distance away from the house site for the well? Planning on RVing it during the build. We have electricity, but no water at this time.
I mean, it can actually be fairly close, Mark. It can be 15, 20 feet away from the house site. What will kind of drive that too is where you're going to need to put the septic system, because the septic system and the water well, think of two north ends of a magnet. They cannot be a certain distance from one another, depending on the type of well that's being done, whether it's cement, concrete encased, that kind of thing. So that will drive part of that decision. But as far as it can, 20 feet safe. Because you got the wellhead itself, which is typically just you got concrete and then some 4-inch PVC pipe. So it's pretty sturdy and it's pretty short. So it's kind of like almost like fire hydrant style. It's pretty stout. And then you have some electrical and water and plumbing components. And then you have the tank. And the tank's a little more fragile, but it's also like 6 feet tall and blue. So it's pretty obvious. And ideally it shouldn't get run into, but trucks are trucks and humans are humans. So those are the, we can rope it off. We can, caution tape it off, things like that, to keep deals away from it. And the other thing you can do is you can run water line a long way and maintain pressure. So really the only point of the tank of the water well is to maintain pressure. So think of it as a miniature version of a water tower you would see in a city. So the water tower itself that you see in a city is actually not. Here's your fun fact for the day. Everybody write this down. The water tower does not hold all the water for the city. That's not what it's for. There is water in it, but that's not what it. If it runs out of water, you don't run out of water. You'll notice in a lot of these towns, you drive through the highways and byways of Texas, they're usually on kind of the highest point in town, up on a hill or on a rise. And the reason for that, same thing, it's to keep pressure. Plumbing needs head pressure. So it keeps pressure on those lines so that as people are as they're watering their lawns or flushing their commodes or taking their showers, or the kids are doing the laundry before they neatly fold it, things like this that happen. As you're doing that pressure is pushing down, and that there's a supply line filling that water tower. But it's really important that there's an air bubble at the top of that. So when you see a big blue water tank on your property or on anyone's property, really only about 3/4 of it is ever full. It's really important you have a bubble at the top, and that bubble keeps that pressure. You want 30, 40, 50 pounds of pressure to keep water flowing through your house, particularly if you have multiple people using it. So you can run a water line from that tank to where you're going to be using your RV, and use that either temporary or a permanent one, and then it can be 20 feet or so. I know there's a long answer for that, but there's a lot going on there.
There is, yes. It's all good information.
And all the OSCs do this all the time. The new home specialists answer every one of these.
I just got schooled in water wells, and I've had one.
Yeah. So Denise is saying she had to walk away for a second. Is asking about the Paula Duro model in San Marcos.
Oh, Denise, you didn't walk away long enough. You'll need to walk away longer than that for the model.
So we are working on it. Like Eric said, if anybody knows anyone in the city of San Marcos that can help us get our approval faster, we would happily build this model for you. We are working on it.
I'm close enough to take them cookies.
Yeah, we need cookies.
Yes, we need to get Laredo to hook them up with cookies.
We need cupcakes.
Lucky's daughter, guys, makes the prettiest cookies. And if you're looking for cookies
I
for
will
a
take
special
them
event,
to whoever I need to take them to in the city of San Marcos, if we can get that ball rolling.
I know,
gonna be
it's been a
beautiful.
long time. Julie is saying she had the same experience as Kristen with another builder. She's so happy that we found and chose to work with Tilson. Every single person has been happy and helpful and proud to work for y'all. Oh, thank you, Julie. Sorry you had a bad experience elsewhere, but glad that we're able to fix it for you.
Yeah, thanks for trusting us, Julie.
Yeah, Stephanie is building the Angelina in Bexar County. Sheetrock hung, tape, and floating today, crossing her fingers to get in by Christmas. Shout out to Zach Jimerson for keeping things rolling. Awesome.
Yeah, she had another comment not long after that about that sheetrock making a big difference.
Yeah, by the way, a big wow once the sheetrock was hung. We could finally see the house coming to shape. Yeah, it's really funny how, like, when it's just framing, even though it's open, it looks smaller. And then once you put the walls and start closing things in, the house starts to look bigger.
Yeah, it's real hard to conceptualize the space when you can see through the room.
Yeah. And then Pamela's saying she loves these live events and videos. She's watched most of them from last year. Oh, wow. And actually changed her house plan selection after watching the custom build of the Laporte. Thanks for all the information. Very helpful to get educated on the building process. Awesome. Thank you for watching, Pamela.
Dawn, how many lives are in the?
This is
Yeah.
episode number 73.
Oh my
So-
God.
Wow.
You
That's
have a
impressive.
little over
Really.
73 hours of our videos if you just really want to learn everything. And
The net.
if you
The
watch
next-
all 73 hours, I'll let you give the videos. Maybe
Yeah, you won't need us anymore.
you can come
My
be
vote
on.
is the next Netflix binge.
Oof.
There you go.
Tilson, 73 hours.
70.
Just remember, we charge no subscription, so you get what you pay for. I guarantee it.
Awesome. We have a friend over on YouTube who's saying, I'm needing a shed and would like to build that at the same time Tilson is building. Is that a problem?
You'll ever get questions like this, Faith? When people are
Yes, we do get these.
I don't get the shed specifically, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, yeah. I mean, they want to build like a barn dominium type
Mhm.
structure, so a little larger.
Yeah, so the
Um,
answer is yes, you can. You can build something at the same time. So obviously, we've got to work. So although we get particular about UTS 9000, I always get weird about calling people by their screen handle. But we do-
That's why I say a friend from YouTube.
Yeah, it is. So you probably weren't planning on doing this, but we just want to put it out there. Tying into like plumbing, tying into the electrical, things like that. These are the no-nos that we don't allow. But as far as building something while it's being done, that's not an issue at all. We've even had customers that have sourced like same shingle color and obviously Sherwin-Williams paint color for their Hardy, like to make it match. We've had a few that even sourced similar brick, stone, those kinds of things. So. But it sounds like shed, not going to need it. But yeah, you can do that at the same time. All that we ask is that we don't tie in. What we can do is if when we're doing your site evaluation, if you're knowing that you're going to need to have a sub panel or something, that's fine. In most cases, your power supplier can just put a like a 110 outlet or some kind of outlet on the pedestal for you, depending on where you're building. And again, it could be a gazillion different ways, as we discovered last week with Pedernales Electric Co-op or Mid-South or Guadalupe Valley or Grayson County. Like there are thousands of different electrical providers in Texas, and they all require something a little different. So get with them if you're wanting power at it.
Mhm.
If you're looking for a place to put hay, just pile hay up in there. Don't worry about it.
Yup. Awesome. Kristen is asking, when having land cleared, is it necessary to have the rock milled? The guy we contacted said it would make the land ready for sod, but I wonder if that's more of an add-on to our quote.
I don't see a lot of people offering that up, Kristen. So that's interesting that they would do that. He's right. It will definitely make it ready for sod if you want sod. Now, this is Eric opinion time, okay? I'm all for whatever God put in that part of the world, let it grow, okay? Like, I think
You've
a
been
lot of
talking
the
to my husband.
issues that people
I
run
want sod.
into and you can see it in master plan, and it's beautiful, right? I mean, a well irrigated green lawn is gorgeous, except you have to cut it every week. But it's you have to keep watering it to keep it growing. And so, to me, if it's xeriscaped, if it's rock and cactus and maybe not cedar, but that kind of stuff, like. Just let that be the way to be. I mean, we landscaped a little around our model in Texas Grand Ranch, but the whole back acre of it is pine needles and pine trees and yopon and just whatever grows naturally that doesn't need, to be watered 7 days a week. So there you go. We don't want sod. We don't.
Kristen's on your team. She does not want sod. So
probably wouldn't be milling the rock if it were me. That's just me. I would be milling the rock. I like the rock. You know that? Because the rock never gets to get mowed. Never needs to. You can mow it all you want to, and you'll go through lots of mowers. The rock's going to stay there. It's not going anywhere.
The rock's going to win.
It's going to win every time.
Oh,
Awesome.
man.
Yeah, we have somebody over on YouTube that says he feels like he can work for Tilson now thanks to the video. So we're hiring.
As
go
it
to the
turns out,
website.
yeah.
Just apply for whatever you feel like you're most qualified for, and we'd happily let you join the team. We have Dana making a suggestion, saying it would be helpful if there was some sort of database that we can look at all the different homes built with their different options, sort of how we have some interior and exterior pictures with the homeowners selections, but like on a bigger scale. So what she's looking for is somewhere where she can see like exactly color selections and look at that, the different bathrooms, things like that. We are working on it. I'm hoping to roll something like that out next year. We've been building the internal database for a while and kind of gathering it all up, and you're seeing like bits and pieces of it go out into the Facebook world. And yeah, we're trying to bring it all back together into the website. So you'll actually be able to search by colors. So.
Yeah, Dana, I learned recently that tagging things is a big undertaking.
Yes.
Tagging the names of things, and the word of the week at the summit we went to was metadata. So those it takes someone has to actually sit there, ideally an intern if we can find one, that just like types in paint colors on like 10,000 pictures, and then floor cover colors,
and make sure they format it exactly the same way every single time.
Yeah. So yes, like Don said, we're working on it, and we know it's something that users like you guys want, and so our aim is to give it to you as expeditiously as possible.
Yes.
And keep doing our day jobs.
Mark is asking what, in Tilson's humble opinion, is the best farmhouse plan that offers good views from the family room of the back and front of one's property.
I'm going to leave that to our new home specialists.
I would tell Mark, honestly, he needs to find the plan that he is drawn to, even if it's just the exterior of it, because we can add all the windows he wants. That's easy. That's my opinion. Now, I have my favorite. But
Right. He asked for an humble opinion, Lucky.
Yeah.
So help the man out.
What's your favorite?
Okay, my favorite is the Fayetteville.
There you go.
Fayetteville.
My favorite is the Fayetteville when it comes to that style. But from a general perspective, we can add windows. It is easy.
Yeah.
It is. It's so easy to add windows.
Mm-hmm.
Faith, do you have a favorite?
I do, but I like the driftwood a lot because it has the A-frame ceilings that carry out to the back patio, and you have all those gorgeous windows on the back that just really lets nature in. So I really like that floor plan a lot. That's my favorite.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly a good one. There are now certainly you're talking about probably some of the market is going to be a smaller plan if you're wanting to be able to have you from the family front and back, because that means you're probably not going to have a big foyer of any kind. You're not going to have probably a study or a dining obstructing that view. So it's going to be one of your smaller plans, maybe a Refugio type.
A Rio.
Rio, yeah.
Yes,
one of those.
I was thinking the Rio also, because that one also speaks to me as a farmhouse. I mean, not the farmhouse, but the ranch style house that the gentleman was asking earlier about, which generally to me, ranch style is like single story. It's kind of long. It's got the big front porch kind of idea.
I'll say also the I know it's an older plan and people have it, but the Nueces and even of course the Marion / Tampico, both of those you can see through the front and the back, sitting from the family room. I know that because I spent many hours in the Marion and Bryan alone, sitting in the family room, looking at the front and the back, waiting for people to come see me. So yeah, it's a great one. And of course the Tampico and Nueces both have farmhouse style elevations marked. So I don't know what square footage you're looking for. We kind of just gave you a range from 1,200 to 2,300. So hopefully that's a helpful.
With everything in between. The only thing we didn't mention again was the Gonzalez.
Right. I think Faith's was the most humble opinion, though. If I had to vote humble opinion, it'd be Faith's. Faith's was humble.
Okay, Faith wins. So Sky is saying, I'm building the canyon and I do not remember what is the normal texture on ceilings and walls. I hope it's not the popcorn type with sharp edges. No, not popcorn.
No, we do extra popcorn with extra glitter in our texture. Put in the comments if you've ever seen glitter in texture. I have seen glitter in texture.
Oh,
Wow.
That was a thing.
Wow.
That was a thing.
No.
Yeah.
It's really-
Like
Just
on
mix
purpose,
it in.
or like one of those glitter just got in it situation?
No, like
No,
it
on
was
purpose
a
glitter.
thing for a while in home building in Texas, like glitter. So no, so our typically the way texture's done, Sky, and so I'm glad you asked because that's one of those things that oh no,
Yeah,
no glitter.
this guy's not down for the
Agree.
glitter.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
don't knock it till you try it, Sky. We have some I have. Okay, so what you're going to see, that's going to be one of those things that varies across the state, because obviously we don't have the same sheetrock texture crew.
Oh, Eric, you got called out.
Hey,
Oh,
let's just say I've been in the industry a minute. Okay, I've been in the industry a minute.
he grew up in the industry, so
Right,
he remembers longer than the rest.
I haven't grown up yet. That day's coming. But so you're going to see different applications across the state, right? But we don't have the same crew putting texture on in Rockport as we do in, Van Alstyne up in Grayson County, right? Those are 350 miles apart. So that's one of those things that's not, like pretty well you order a tile color, even though there's some variation in it, it's going to be pretty close to the same. Sheetrock texture, it's not that way. That is an application that's done custom on site. So we call it a splatter texture on the walls, typically a splatter drag on the ceiling. So the ceiling's usually a little bit heavier texture than the walls. Your wall texture is a splatter, so it's sprayed with a gun onto the walls. Sometimes you'll hear it called an orange peel texture. So I think it's a little heavier than an orange peel. So like literally think of an orange peel, what that texture feels like. It's a little heavier than that. So I like the splatter, but I think we actually call out splatter in our options addendum. We used to call our building specifications. So it's and we got some high risk pictures you can actually kind of see, but basically where all three of these ladies are kind of sitting, that's kind of what you're going to see. Mine, I'm in a commercial building, so these are slick walls, a level 5 finish. This is not what we're doing. But the splatter, you're not going to see popcorn, and ideally you will not see glitter. But if you do, I'm coming to see your house.
Oh man.
That might be a new request.
No, yeah, it will now.
I get the special picture on the website for sure.
All right. Anybody else seen the glitter? Let us know in the comments if you've seen the glitter in the walls. I know once you get glitter in your house, it never goes away because I have
also
two
true.
girls and
Yeah.
had a very sparkly laundry room floor because the glitter never went away. Back when Justice was a thing and all the jeans were glittered.
Mhm.
Yeah. Glitter's
You know
evil.
what's neat is having your wife that owned a kids arts and crafts studio.
Oh yeah, you win.
A lot of
Yeah,
glitter,
with
sure.
It's hard to have a stern conversation with your kids with glitter on your face. It's very difficult, but it can be done.
I know there was this big thing a few years ago. It was actually a company, I think they were Australian, and they just as a joke put up a website that was mail glitter to your enemies.
Oh.
And they would just mail an envelope of glitter to whoever you asked for. And
Yeah, that's
So,
grounds
My
for
mom-in-law does that in
Yep.
my children's cards.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's sweet of her.
yay!
Lucky.
Mom.
So sweet. It is the bigger glitter. It's not like the ultra
Okay.
fun, but it's
That's
still.
awesome.
And we've gotten to where now we are
over
prepared.
the trash can.
And yes, because the first time it happened, yeah.
He's
Open your birthday
rubbing
card.
down
We
the
do
envelopes
outside
to make
birthdays.
sure.
Outside birthdays.
Jessie says that her great aunt has the glitter ceilings. She built a home in Arkansas, and that was a must for her.
Boom.
There you
See?
go.
Wow.
There you go. It's a thing.
It was a thing. It was a thing.
All right. Frank is asking if we choose fiberglass over foam insulation, do we still have to have the HVAC dehumidifier, and can you then have a standard wood burning fireplace?
Well, Frank, it depends on where you're building. So that's broken up really by climate zone. So if the house already comes with foam insulation, it's probably because it's in climate zone 3, and we aren't really going to have an option to go down to fiberglass. And it has to do with the air changes per hour. So the homes are tested for leakage, basically. And the International Code Council has said here's the arbitrary line. In these counties in Texas, thou shalt not exceed, in let's say climate zone 2, for instance, 5 air changes per hour. You're 3 air changes per hour in Navarro County. So it's not going to be something that we're going to be able to do. We're going to have to stick with that foam and the dehumidifier, and not because that's what it takes to make the house energy efficient necessarily, but it's what it's going to take for it to pass that 3 air changes per hour. We have to make your house tighter in Navarro County than we have to make houses in, say, Montgomery County or Harris County. And I know you're kind of really close to being on the line, but even the county just to the south of you, I believe, which I think is Freestone County, I believe they're still even climate zone 3. So where Fairfield and Streetman and all that is. So certainly where you are, I mean, you're on the southern edge of the DFW Metroplex. It's going to have to be climate zone 3. And unfortunately, we are going to have to make sure that we get it to pass that 3 air changes per hour or less. Like that's the max it can be. It can't be over 3. So we really need to test out at like 2.5 to 2.57 or something like that, like to make sure that we have less than 3 air changes per hour. So there is, there's not going to be a way we can do a standard wood burning fireplace in a climate zone 3 area. It's going to have to be that Constitution where we can close it and it has the self-sealing doors. Otherwise, it will not pass that blower door test, which is finally came to my mind, which we're doing. But it may pass the duct blaster test, but it will not pass the blower door test. It's going to fail.
Okay. All right. Pauline is asking, can you add an underground safe room to your designs?
Underground, no. Underground, no. We don't do basements. It gets a little. Our water tables are too high here in the areas that we build. We have had people that built them like in their garages. We've had a few build them inside the living area of the home. There's a company called Family Safe, actually based in Oklahoma, but they have distribution places in Texas. They can be built during construction. They can be added, but they're not even built.
Yeah.
They come from the factory already done, and they set them in there and bolt them to the ground during the frame stage. So that's
we
really
did.
the
I
best
saw one
way.
of those in Corsicana.
Yeah, that's really the best way to do it because those are rated, they're tested. They've gone through all the rigorous studies to actually perform. We make no claims of them. I guess that means we disclaim them. Isn't that that's what that means? Anyway, so but yeah, we're not be able to do something underground.
Okay. All right. Vince is saying
Grandfather
they put the
actually
glitter.
put an underground one in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it stayed full of water all the time.
That was my next question.
Think about this.
So
Was
it
in
was
the
like an indoor pool?
60s. Yeah. So Cold War, hide under your desk because that'll keep a nuclear explosion from killing you. And so yeah, he had this whole thing, and in the front where he had his Tilson home, in the front yard, he had this bunker that they would go down into, and that's where they were going to survive the nuclear. Yeah, it was a Spachybotrys mold infested. Like you're going to die of that long before you die of a nuclear attack. So
wow.
didn't work out.
Vince is saying we put glitter on the powder room wall on purpose, and it looks cool. Not a Tilson
There you
home,
go.
but did it? Yeah,
See?
I could see it like in a little area, maybe as like an accent.
I've seen
but
that.
yeah, I was having visions of the whole house, and yeah. Jesse also says that the glitter was fun as a kid because you just spin around in a chair and stare at it. So kind of like a disco ball effect, I guess.
Boy, bust out the solitaire cards, Jesse. It's time to play a game.
I think my oldest daughter would love the glitter on the ceiling, actually, because in her wedding, everything was glitter. And my son-in-law was like, no more glitter.
None.
So.
None. Makes touch-up interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That would be really tough. Marissa's saying, since building the driftwood in my community in Cielo Rio and Pipe Creek 2 years ago, there's been nothing but Tilson homes being built here. Everyone has been very happy with their results. Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Marissa, that's because you're a trendsetter. You're a trailblazer, Marissa. Thanks for trusting us.
She
Awesome.
picked
Thank
the
you.
right plant.
For sure.
She did. Yeah.
My favorite.
That is a pretty one. And Tracy is saying all of our permits for Hayes County are finally approved. Yay!
Hallelujah.
That's a tough one. We will be meeting with our building supervisor soon. I'm so excited to finally get started on our farmhouse Frio live oak plan.
Here we go.
Fun.
Thanks,
Good.
Tracy.
It's great.
All right. So what are some of the other things, Dawn? You got other questions prepared for these two? that
I
folks
do.
ask?
Like I know one that comes up a lot is, like a lot of what you guys do, and you're answering a lot of the initial questions. But
Mhm.
one of the things that you guys are there for is to kind of make appointments with a design center. So why is having an appointment so important?
Faith, you want me to go or you want to go?
It doesn't matter either way.
I want to hear from both of you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Go ahead,
challenge.
Faith.
Tag team.
So honestly, it really is just to be to maximize your time. So we our team tries to gather as much information as we possibly can and schedule that visit so that when you come into the office, the consultant is not just prepared for you, but they have designated time
Mhm.
ready for just you. We also answer calls for all of the offices. So during that time with you, they're not taking calls from clients coming in. You're not being interrupted. And we're just very respectful of focusing on you and your new home dreams and working with you to the best of our ability.
Faith, are most of our folks, are they just live right around the corner from these design centers, or are they driving a little ways? What do you see?
Some of them they're driving a little ways, especially if they're in rural. Their property is more rural, more out. They may
So
be
yeah,
driving.
why might it be a good idea then that you have an appointment?
Well, you're going to take the time to make that drive, so you want to make sure that if you're going by the fly and just popping in one day, it would be super frustrating to not be able to receive the service and the time that you deserve to have when you come into our design centers. We want to be able to give that to you. We want to be able to show you the tour of the home. I mean, you can take a self tour, but it's nothing comparable to being able to have a design consultant walk through the home with you, because you'll see things in a physical realm that you may not be conscientious of prior to ask about, and they'll be able to go over those things. You may ask about modifications while you're there physically. And, we'd hate for you to make that drive. It is worth the drive, but it's worth taking that time to make the appointment so we can maximize your time, like Lucky says.
Yeah, that's
And
the
be sure to
main
be
thing.
available.
You're
because that
gonna have
happens too.
questions. You are
Mhm.
gonna have questions. I know you're gonna think,
Yes.
we're gonna go through the house, see if we like it or not. You're gonna have questions. And
Right.
that's cool. That's why we're there. We wouldn't staff these
Yeah,
design
absolutely.
centers if we didn't think you're gonna have questions. So just devote the time. I mean, you wouldn't just show up unless there was an emergency. You wouldn't just show up at your doctor's office or your dentist's office or
Mhm.
and expect to be seen. Like you don't
Right.
even see you at your appointment time, much less if you just popped in. So
Mhm.
it's the same. It's the exact same thing. We want to be sure that you get the time that you deserve.
Yeah,
And it
it's
means
really-
a lot. Yeah, it means a lot whenever you meet with a design consultant one-on-one, because you're able to really give them a lot of information about what you're looking for in your particular build, and it helps them to understand what you're looking for and pop out an array of different plans that might meet your needs than having to be rushed because you don't have that time set up for you.
Mhm. Yeah, Julie's sharing that she drives over an hour for her appointment, so she's really
Yeah.
glad she gets Jody all to herself.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Yeah, thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
I set appointments to pick up groceries. I mean, you can.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
So much faster.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But then how can I walk out with the Oreos and the stuff that I didn't plan on getting if I
That's
that's
the
not-
point.
no, I can't. I don't know if I can handle that. I have to have my freelance shopping. It's very important to me.
Oh my goodness.
See those new items on the shelf that might be on sale too.
Exactly. Oh, on sale. I don't care. I mean, this is on a whim. Like this
Yeah.
is all.
Gotta get the
Complete
new
impulse
flavor
buy.
Oreo.
Right.
There's only one
Frank is-
flavor of Oreo, and that's double stuff. Just so you know.
Right. Well, there's
Okay.
mint ones now, so.
Have you guys had the cappuccino thin ones?
Those are not Oreos. I don't care what
Those
y'all
are
say.
good.
If it
They
is
say
not
they're
double
Oreos.
stuff and family size, it is not Oreo.
I like the thin mint ones. Because it's the closest thing to a
We're
Girl
going to need
Scout
to move
thing.
on before we have a really
Good.
difficult rest of the live.
Okay.
Oh,
No more cookies.
okay. Eric needs support on Team Classic Oreo. So
Yeah, mint and
everybody
chocolate
comment.
do not go together.
Yes,
Vote
they
in the
do.
comments if you like. Thing I know, just not a thing. It divides our household not infrequently, but it's an issue.
So you're like no on Thin Mints too?
No Thin Mints, not a thing. It is not a
Wow.
But have you ever had a frozen one?
thing. Yes, and I've had frozen Oreos, also better. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Just saying. Mint and
oh
chocolate,
no. I think
not
our
a thing.
friendship just changed.
oil and water. Oil and water.
Oh,
No.
he's never had an Andes mint then. Those are
Oh, yeah. Don't get there's a reason they're free, Faith, when you leave the restaurant. There's a reason
there's
they
a
have to
reason
give
why
them
you get
away.
2 hands in there and scoop them up and take them with you.
There's a reason they have to give them
Oh.
away.
We are a company divided.
Yes, we
Same reason
are.
the dentist gives you dental floss for free. Like, there's a reason.
And I guess no York peppermint patties. No,
No.
it is.
No,
You're missing out on a lot, Mr. Alred.
I know.
you are.
Killing me.
Don't worry, I have my share of vices. Don't you worry about that.
All right. Well, Frank
Back to
is
home
asking.
building.
Back to home building. Frank just got his survey so he can contract. Who will I meet in Waxahachie for going over the cost of changes I might want from floor plans to fixtures?
I
Faith,
think
what
so.
should he do?
Yes, we have Tynan Wine Garden in our Waxahachie office. We have Shelley Laird
Pam Morris.
and Pamela Morris.
Mhm.
Morris, actually.
So, Frank, if we're not already talking to you
Mhm.
online, if you haven't called in or submitted a request on the website, if you'll just do that, Faith, myself, or one of our team members will get with you in the next couple of minutes. And
You can call right now, Frank. We'll see if one of them will answer the phone and set up an appointment with you.
I bet they will.
Absolutely.
Bet they will.
I'm going
Yeah,
to take
Frank,
this
call in and
call.
set an
Hold on.
appointment. That's all you need to do, man. Just call in and set it up.
Yep. Colin,
We'll be happy to
set it
help
up.
you.
Yep.
All right. Kristen is asking, is there a way to get the 1099 contract for only bathrooms, laundry room tile, or would it have to be for the entire house?
It does need it for the entire house, Kristen. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So it does come down to how the transitions work, where they meet up, and also just kind of to some degree economies of scale for our tile contractor themselves to mobilize a crew. But yeah, so it needs to be kind of all or none. And also bring us maybe a sample of what you're wanting to do, and there's a very good chance Dow Tile has something. Now you're also you're picking the two most. Those are two of the probably most challenging parts of the house. And I say that because smaller areas are actually more work because there's more cuts.
Oh, yeah. More cuts.
Yes.
So the smaller areas are the harder parts to tile. And you got commodes to work around. You got cabinets to work around. So I'm all for doing a family room. Bring it on. One big rectangle. We'll start in the middle and work our way out. But smaller areas like that are actually the most labor intensive because they involve the most cuts. So fun fact number 2 of the day.
All right. Kita is asking, which location is the busiest for building for Tilson?
Well, actually, it's not the location necessarily. It's, you're talking about, well, I guess it'd be
Like
hard to say.
region?
Like the time frames are the same. Doesn't matter where you buy from. I guess that's the best way to answer that question. The time frames don't really vary that much across the state. Most of those are dictated on a construction basis. And I mean, the busiest area in the country is the Texas Hill Country, kind of that I-35 corridor. That's the hottest area in the United States statistically, based on MSA. So anything around Austin, San Antonio, New Braunfels, Georgetown, all that is a very, very hot area, but that's right early here to there, building there versus building in Maypearl or building in some other place in Texas. So you just it's going to depend on where you want to be, but the timeframes don't vary all that much. But Central Texas is certainly the busiest area for all of Texas. Everybody wants to be in the Hill Country.
Yes.
Almost everybody.
I'm a little partial.
I know.
Jennifer is asking, she's building a Gonzalez in Weatherford, Texas, picked out her colors last week and waiting on site evaluation. Currently, she uses her mother's driveway to get on her property. They like only having one entrance to the property. Will they need to put their own entrance in, or can she give us an easement to use her driveway?
So that's going to be a better question actually for the title company that we're going to end up using. So it depends, quite honestly. The lender is going to have a say in that. If you're borrowing the money, if it's a cash deal, it's a little bit different situation. We have done them in the past where we get an easement or get granted, but it is typically the mortgage company is going to require that you have your own dedicated access. And their reasoning for that, and I know no one wants to really think about this, but if for some reason you won the lottery and moved to Vegas and decided not to pay them because you now live at the MGM Grand and you don't have to pay them anymore, then they have to figure out a way to sell that investment, to recoup their cost. So it's very difficult to do when it's accessed via someone else's property. So the lender is typically going to have more of a say than that than even we do. Although we're going to want whatever the lender and title company want. That's what we're going to require. And typically that does mean having your own access. It's not to say that there couldn't be some type of a dedicated easement but it certainly will have to go back to a public right of way of some sort. And that specifically needs to be answered by the title company and lender that you're using, Jennifer.
Okay.
I'm going to lean to, yes, you need to have your own access. Permanent anyway. Temporary, we can maybe work something out for construction, but permanent access is probably going to need to be your own.
Okay. All right. Polly is saying she's been clearing land for the past month and been working 60 plus hours a week, then clearing. So she's excited for the process to come. Loves our videos and the great people they've talked to and worked with their floor plan. She brags about us all the time.
Oh, that's cool,
she says she's building in Grapetown, Texas, in Fredericksburg.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, clearing is a lot of work. It doesn't look like a big deal when you're first out there, and then 3 hours in, you're like, what have I done? And how much is a skid steer?
Especially if she's clearing cedar.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll just hang on to it in case there's another freeze.
That's right.
make your pile somewhere. You'll be prepared.
Sam is voting for the combination of mint and chocolate. Mint chocolate chip ice cream is the best.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
I have a daughter I love very much. That's her tendency. And, we all have our preferences.
Taylor's a smart girl.
Yeah, she's something.
Kita's asking, why is it that most of items that are ordered for homes are back ordered?
Yeah.
We have the same question.
I wish I had a
Articles on
drone.
that.
I wish I had a
Yes.
drone shot of the coast of the Port of Long Beach or the Port of Los Angeles. I mean, and I'm not saying all of our stuff comes from overseas because it does not, but a lot of the components that go into what a lot of these suppliers use or parts that they use for their machines that they make our stuff with are sitting in those containers offshore waiting to be offloaded. Where there are typically 3 or 4 container ships that wait 2 or 3 days. There's now 30 to 40, actually the peak was 47 containers that may wait 6 weeks to get offloaded. And a 6-week delay on the front of the supply chain does not equate to a 6-week delay at the end of the supply chain where it's being put into your home. That equates into sometimes a 2 and 3 month, in some cases 4-month delay. And it has to do with components. So what you'll see, same thing if you drive by a car dealership right now. Really any car dealership, but particularly American car dealerships, you're going to see that they kind of spaced the cars out, kind of like they do on the bread aisle during a hurricane to make it look like that they have supplies. They don't have any. And it's not because there are parking lots full of Ford pickup trucks in Kentucky waiting on chips, waiting on silicone chips to be, and semiconductors, to be completed, that are sitting in containers off the coast of the Port of Los Angeles and Port of Long Beach. So that leads to, it's got everything backed up, Kita. Just one little component that goes into making a window in Dallas, Texas is enough to hold it up for 12 weeks in some cases. So that's been a real struggle. And what we talked about at the beginning of the show, that it's very unpredictable. In a lot of cases, we don't know until the week before, sometimes 2 weeks before we go to order the material. And a lot of stuff we actually have started ordering way earlier in the process to try and clean up some of that slack in the supply chain. but it is a worldwide, truly, and I'm not exaggerating, this is not hyperbole, it is a worldwide problem. That a lot of those facilities shut down. Still, a lot of them are shutting down, or they've reduced their shifts so that people aren't close together. So they're not putting out as much. So demand has done nothing but go up, and supply has stayed steady, or even in some cases gone down because, okay, we're not working 3 shifts a day anymore, but now we maybe work 1 or 2 shifts a day at this factory because we have to shut it down for 8 hours to do a thorough disinfection because somebody's wife may or may not had COVID, or the kid they were in school with did. So they shut the whole factory down, disinfect it, deep clean it, and then fire it back up 8 hours later. Again, a 8-hour delay on a supply chain at the beginning equates to a day, equates to 3 days, equates to 6 weeks, equates to 3 months. That's the problem that you're seeing on houses, cars, boats, tractors, appliances, anything that's made. Anyway, does that make sense?
Yep. Unfortunately, it does. Don is reporting in from Maybank. He's got painting and he's getting his cabinets on Thursday. Yay!
That's great.
That's awesome.
He didn't introduce it the way he usually does in the rice.
I know he didn't call it a rice patty. Maybe
It's
he's
okay.
Dried out a little bit.
Not
Wishful
he is until
thinking?
this week.
Well, now his house is dried in though, so it should be okay.
That's awesome, Dawn.
Won't be
Thanks for
as
sharing.
bad.
Dawn and Dawn. Appreciate both Dawns.
Mark. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for today's insights. Currently live near the Spring office, but building nearer the Bryan location. Brings the question of where best to contract from. Lucky, where should he
What
sign?
do y'all typically say to that?
What do you say?
I typically, a lot of times I think people ask this question because they think that if they go to a different office, it's going to be more expensive because of the distance to their property. Ideally, Mark, we want to set you up with the office that's going to be the most physically convenient for you to come and work out of. So if you're living near Spring, if you spend the majority of your time in Spring, I would probably recommend the Spring office just because that can sometimes take a couple of trips, just being able to ask questions, to do all of your color selections, your, signing off on your final plans and so on and so forth. So that's how I would typically recommend that.
Awesome. All right, guys, that is all the questions that I see. So it's last call. Everybody start typing.
That's all for questions. Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Faith and Lucky, for not just joining us today, although thank you for that, but all the stuff you do each and every day for our customers and prospective customers out there, for being the face of Tilson Homes out there when people reach out to us, for walking them through this process that can seem very, very complicated, but y'all do it so gently and so well that we couldn't do it without you. So I'm grateful for you. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you. My
Look, a
pleasure.
question.
Oh,
All right. So she's asking, my husband and I own our land, but we also have a home equity loan on our house in the middle of Cedar Park where houses sell very quickly. I was told in one of your offices that we would have to sell our house first to be able to build with Tilson. We have 70% equity in the house and 100% own the land. Is there any program that would allow us to stay in our home and sell it a few months before we close on our Tilson house?
Okay, so short answer is we have done that before. So we'd probably require a couple of things. We'd want comps. So we'd want a realtor. We could get one for you that'll do an MSA. What is it called? Don, I've gone blank. But as a realtor, I feel very ashamed.
Market analysis, yeah.
Yeah, a CMA, competitive market analysis. I put it into remission. I'm not a realtor. I'm currently not in good standing with the state, so because I didn't do my continuing education. What are you going to do?
We offer that, Eric.
To get Tilson Homes. We started building houses a lot. So all that to say, we would do a competitive market analysis with a licensed Trek real estate agent to find out what the price is, make sure that'd be something you'd be comfortable selling that home at realistically, and not just there's two ways to attack this. One would be find out from the lender. It's not us that's going to require the home be sold first. It's typically the lender. We're indifferent as to whether you hold onto the house forever, keep it, rent it out, sell it. It doesn't matter to us. The only time it matters to us is if the lender that's doing your permanent loan, the mortgage, is going to require that it be sold prior to you being able to close on the new Tilson home. That's when we would come in and be like, okay, well, in a perfect world, we would want that sold beforehand, because that could hold up closing, which is the way our model works. We don't get paid anything until the house is completely finished. So when the house is finished, we do intend to get paid in pretty short order. So we wouldn't want it sitting out there for 2, 3, 5, 7 months waiting to sell. Yes, it's a hot time. Yes, that's a hot area. So it may be okay, but we would want to run all those numbers and then have a conversation with your lender about their comfort level, and then we could go from there. So it's not an impossibility, but send us a private message and we'll get you set up, and maybe we can reach out to because what the consultant told you is technically true. That if the lender's requiring it that it be sold, it has to be sold prior to construction. But there are very few cases. We've done case by case. We can look at that.
Okay.
One of the advantages to not having to have a construction loan, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Kristen is asking, how much does it cost for Tilson to clear the land?
Chris, I forgot you said where you. I think you said you're in the Fredericksburg, Central Texas area. We can work on getting you bids. We had some recently. See how quickly I can find it. It may take me a little bit of a minute, but it depends on how much you're clearing, obviously. It could be, as I think the least it's going to be is probably $3,000 or $4,000, but it could cost, more than that if they have to haul off material.
She's in Garden Ridge.
Yeah. So in the Hill Country area. So I mean, it really does depend. I would figure somewhere between $4,000 and $10,000, depending on if material needs to be hauled off, if it can be, burned on site, if you just want it piled up on site. I know that it varies based on what we can do, but I'd figure no less than probably $4,000 is what I would budget. And that it's going to be how much you want cleared too. That's typically going to get you like 100 feet of clearing for a driveway, trimming the trees for the clearance, and the area needed to get the home staked out. About 4,000 would be the minimum to kind of start the engines on that.
All right. That is all we have.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching today. Thank you all for doing this. Thank you, Dawn, for putting it on.
Thank you, y'all.
Thank you all for watching. Obviously, we have a whole lot of other ways you can reach. This is not the only time you can talk to us. It's really not. Particularly Faith and Lucky.
Yes.
You can talk to them almost anytime you want to. Go to our website. Our website's open all the time. They don't work 24/7, but we are open on the website 24/7. They do have families and hours and like obligations, and so they take care of that. Anyway, so we got a website, we got Instagram, we got Facebook, we've got YouTube, we've got Vimeo. We have offices. We have some design centers all over the state that have model homes that are for you guys to go through and tour and whatever you want to do with them. So they're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, Sundays noon to 6. We hope to see you there, and we genuinely soon to hope make you part of the Tilson family. See you later, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.